God bless you, my friends. Welcome back to the Mission Gospel Train, and we just thank God for all of our wonderful sponsors who help keep gospel gas, gospel coal in the gospel train every time here on KSBI. And my friends, as we come for tonight, I am just excited and delighted to be able to have what I call my first interview of the Mission Gospel Train, none other than a great legend in his own right, the very fine pastor of the Fairview Baptist Church, also the president of the Baptist Ministers Association here in Oklahoma City, also the very fine president of the CCSR, Concerned Clergy for Spiritual Renewal, and also one of the vice presidents of the National Baptist Convention of USA. And we're just grateful to have him to come to share with us today, none other than the Right Reverend John A. Reed Jr. Come on, let's welcome him tonight. Pops, thank you so much. And so many know him as Pops, and I don't mean no disrespect, but that's what we call him. Pops, thank you so much for coming.
It's just good to be with you, son, as you venture out on this endeavor and touching the TV audience. It's just good to have the opportunity to share with you.
Well, you know, like you've always said, that you have known me all of my life, and I just thank God for you. You've been such a great mentor to me and to a whole lot of preachers throughout this country, and we just thank God for you. And just, I mean, I just get the list continue to run on. Community servant, leader, and all. What keeps you going, Pops?
Well, I really don't really know. It's just a matter of being a servant. You serve, and you continue doing it day in and day out, and that's always my concern. It's a matter of reaching out and helping people. And so that's my life, and I enjoy it. And so it looks like the Lord gives me strength to continue on, and I hope that will continue.
Yes, sir. Well, you know,
I'm not an old man, you know.
I
just been around a while.
Well, you know that thank God for you, and also, by all means, I wanted to say a special shout out to Mom Reed today, and also here on the Mission Gospel Train. And I want to say congratulations. I understand you all will be celebrating 50 years of marriage.
That's right, on the 18th of June. And of course, we'll be celebrating it on the 17th and renewing our vows on the 17th of June at the Fairview Church. And of course, we invite all of our friends and in the community and across the state and really across the nation, because there's been so many people who've shared in our lives during these 50 years.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess being at Fairview about 49 years and then preaching and over 50 years, and the Lord has blessed you to see your family, your daughters and their families, and I bet it just makes you all feel good to see them just connected and involved in ministry.
Oh, it's a great feeling to know, especially that your children are committed to your ministry. We have two fine daughters, and of course they married preachers also.
Yeah.
Of course, they weren't preaching when they married, because our daughters informed us years ago that they would never marry a preacher. But both of our sons are preachers, and of course the oldest son is pastoring himself, and then the youngest son is assistant with me at the church.
Sure.
And of course my baby daughter is the administrative assistant full-time at the church, and she's been employed full-time ever since she finished college. So
Amen.
It means so much to us, you know, that they are part of our ministry. Yeah.
And also the grandchildren.
Oh, I have 3 great grandbabies now, you know, 2 granddaughters, and both who are the age of 16 now. They both young ladies, and then that grandson of mine is 10 going on 30. But we're most certainly blessed as a family, and we thank God. Well, nobody but the Lord could do that, you know.
That's right.
Wife and I think about it all the time, and 50 years of marriage, you don't see too much anymore because we're living in a time where marriage is being downplayed. We know that,
Sure.
and but we want to be a living example of that the couple can make it with the help of the Lord, because we simply believe that marriage is made in heaven.
That's right.
And so we feel that it's been the Lord that have brought us to this point, and we're grateful.
Amen.
And we're gonna celebrate.
Amen. Come on, let's put our hands together.
And if I had to do it again, I'd marry the same girl.
Amen.
Yeah.
And Pastor, I guess been all across the country and seeing what has been one of the greatest joys that you could just say within your ministry.
Well, I think one of the greatest joys that's been in my ministry really is the Fairview Baptist Church. I've traveled across the country. Matter of fact, I've traveled across the world. I've preached in not only across this nation, but I've preached in countries overseas and type. But my greatest thrill is standing up at Fairview preaching on Sunday morning. That's the greatest thrill I have.
Amen.
And I tell anybody that I love that church and that church loved me, and I've had the privilege of serving that church for almost 49 years now, and it's just been a blessing. And so I'm able to sit back and see the fruits of my labor. I'm baptized in
Generations.
yeah, 3 or 4 generations. I'm baptizing babies now. I baptize their mothers and fathers, and I help send them to school, and now I'm sending their children to school, and so it's you know, really it finally becomes a father image to the church instead of just pastor.
Sure.
Most of those members that was born since I've been there, and they're in their early 50s, and all of those members refer to me as Pops, and they refer to wife as Mother Reed, and all the children call me Pawpaw. And so if you come around Fairview, you hear very few members saying Pastor. Most of them are saying Pops, and so it's a great thrill to be able to live and serve and just sit back and see the fruits of your labor and what the Lord has done through your feeble efforts, because we know that if it had not been for the Lord, we would not have been able to accomplish what we have. And so I thank God for it. I thank God that He's let me live long enough to be able to sit back and really enjoy my ministry. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying my ministry.
Amen. And Pastor, I guess, have you watched the state? We always hear the State of the Union, the state of the state. Here in the 21st century, what do you think about the state of the church?
Well, I think that there have been changes, and I think that one particular thing that I most certainly has noticed that's very serious about the 21st century church is that people are not as committed as they has been. One of the problems with the 21st church now is uncommitted members, and I think that's one of the problems that the 21st church has. I remember growing up as a child, and of course I think one of the problems is the fact that there's so much more pulling on people and pulling on our members and our youth and our children than has been before. Actually, when we were growing up, all we had was the church, school and the church.
And did you think, like, especially Wednesday and Sunday, there was no activity?
No activities.
Except being at the church.
Being at the church. As a matter of fact, of course, at that particular time, we didn't have malls in the first place, but even the neighborhood stores were closed on Sunday. If you wanted to do any shopping at all, you had to do it before Sunday. On Sunday, everything was closed, and people were in church on Sunday. You know, after church service was over, you know, you find people fellowshipping probably at the movies, playing ball, those type of things. But most of that was not done on Sunday when we were. Yeah. As a matter of fact, those of us who were children at our churches, we couldn't attend those activities on Sunday.
That's right. That's right.
Nowhere in the world I could go to a ball game on Sunday from my father's house. Yeah. Nowhere in the world I could attend a movie on Sunday. Those things just didn't happen then. And so it's a huge change now. And of course, I think that that's why the church must still be a living witness in our community. We cannot compromise the gospel. We've got to continue preaching and setting the right example for the community, for society.
You know, and you know, I could talk to you all evening here, but we got some more coming on with us tonight. But just what word, after 50 years plus ministry, preaching, pastoring, what words of wisdom could you give to what we call the younger preachers coming up? And
Jesus himself actually gave that message through the Apostle John on the Isle of Patmos, and he said, "Be thou faithful. Be thou faithful unto death, and that I will give you a crown of life." He never said anything about being famous. As a matter of fact, he never said anything about being successful. All he said was be faithful.
Be faithful.
And I think one of the problems with young pastors now, all of them are trying to be famous and all of them are trying to be successful, but that's not what the Lord told us to do.
It's to be faithful.
He said, "Be faithful unto death." And if you're faithful unto death, I'll give you a crown of life. And that's all we'll ask to do as far as our calling is concerned, is to be faithful.
Be faithful.
Be faithful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, Pastor, I want you to know how much I appreciate you.
God bless you, son.
For coming and being with us here on the Mission Gospel Train, and we just thank God for you. And I want you to know that I want you to come back again.
No problem, and I want you to know that I'm going to be much in prayer for you as you venture out in this particular witness, and anything that I can do to help in any way, Pops is here for you. You know that, all right?
Come on, put your hands together. None other than the Reverend Dr. John A. Reed, Jr., verified pastor of the Fairview Baptist Church.